Hello dear students, welcome to our channel Jeet Ki Pathshala. Today we will discuss lesson number 7, that is rivers of Assam. So let's get started. Brahmaputra and Barak are the two major rivers of Assam. Several tributaries flow into these two rivers. The Brahmaputra and its tributaries receives water from the rivers of Tibet, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Assam, Meghalaya, Bhutan, Sikkim, West Bengal and some parts of Bangladesh. Suppose this is a river and these small lines which you can see here represents what? Small rivers. Okay, so these small rivers which joins the big rivers are known as what? Tributaries. So here it has said that the main river Brahmaputra and its small tributaries, they receives water from the places like Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Assam, Meghalaya, Bhutan, Sikkim, West Bengal and some parts of Bangladesh. So the area from which these rivers and tributaries receives water is called Brahmaputra River Basin. So now if we see this figure once again, we will understand this thing. Suppose this is the main river which I have already told you. This is for example Brahmaputra, and these are small tributaries which join river Brahmaputra. So the entire place, this place from where river Brahmaputra and its tributaries receives water is called what? It's called river basin. As this river basin is basically of river Brahmaputra, we call it Brahmaputra River Basin. Okay, so river basin means what? The area from where a river and its tributaries carries water downward. Similarly, the Barak river also has its own river basin. So hope you have understood the meaning of river basin. River basin means that area from where a river and its tributaries carries water downward. The Barail mountain of Dima Hasao separates Brahmaputra river basin of north and Barak river basin of the south. So one side Brahmaputra river basin, another side Barak river basin. In the middle, what it lies in the middle, there is Barail mountain of Dima Hasao. You should remember. So this Barail mountain separates Brahmaputra river basin and Barak river basin. So now let's go and see a little bit about river Brahmaputra. River Brahmaputra is 2900 kilometer. The Brahmaputra is 2900 kilometer from its source to mouth. Source to mouth means from its origin to the end place. Suppose this is the origin of river Brahmaputra, that is Tibet, and here it ends, that is Bay of Bengal. So from here to here, okay, total length of river Brahmaputra is how much? 2900 kilometers. The river is known by different names in different places. In Assam, it was known as Lohitya. So earlier it was known as Lohitya, but later it is known as Lohit. Okay. There are several myths on the origins of Brahmaputra. So there are several myths that how river Brahmaputra have origined. According to the sources, the origin of Brahmaputra is from glacier named Sema Yongdung, located in a place called Thamchu Kamla Chorten, near Kailas mountain in Tibet. Okay, so here we have come to know the glacier from where river Brahmaputra have originated, and that place where that glacier is located also is given here, that is Thamchu Kamla Chorten, and it is nearby Kailas mountain in Tibet. It is at a height of 5150 meters above sea level, and the place from where river Brahmaputra have originated is near about 5150 meters above the sea level. From its source means the place from where river Brahmaputra has originated. So from its source the river flows through, let's turn the page, Tibetan Plateau in the north and Himalayan in the south, and in an eastward direction covering 1700 kilometer. In this region, the local name of river is Sangpo. Okay, so there in Tibet it is known as Sangpo. The river then turns southwestward near Namsa Barwa peak and enters Arunachal Pradesh. So after covering 1700 km in Tibet, where it is known as Sangpo, it enters into Arunachal Pradesh. After flowing for some distances, it changes its course and flows southwards and enters the plains near Pasighat. After covering almost 1700 kilometers in Tibet, it enters into Arunachal Pradesh. So after flowing distance, it enters into the plain area of Arunachal Pradesh. So the name of river Brahmaputra in the upper regions of Arunachal Pradesh is Siang. So let's go to page number 55. From a place called Fei in China to Pasighat, the river crosses the Himalayan range. Since the river flows from steep slopes, erosion is high in the river bed. So as we come to know that from Fei to Pasighat, the river comes down from Himalayan range. That means it has a slope. And generally we know that in slopes, the speed of water is more or high. It results high erosion. As a result, these erosions are deposited or these sediments are deposited on the river bed. River bed means the bottom of the river. Therefore, in this region, the river takes V-shaped course. So here you can see in this figure 7.3, here it is not exactly like a V, but it looks like U. Okay, sometimes it may also take a shape of V. Besides, in some places the river bed comes deeper and take the shape of canyon. So somewhere it may form canyon also. So this kind of river course is known as canyon, which generally is similar to letter U or letter V. While entering the plains of Assam from south of Pasighat, so after Pasighat, when it enters into Assam, from there to Dhubri, which is located on the western side of our state Assam, can be called as the middle course. That means the river which lies between the southern part of Pasighat to Dhubri of Assam is known as the middle course of river Brahmaputra. The length of the course of river is 640 kilometers in Assam. So the total length of river Brahmaputra in Assam is 640 kilometers. So from Pasighat, the Dihang flows for some distance and near Sadia it joins the river Dibang and Lohit. From these regions, the river is known as Brahmaputra. So the river flows down southeast following the slopes of the land. So the river flows down southeast from south to east direction in a slope. In the middle Assam, the Brahmaputra takes westward direction, and in the middle part of Assam, it takes westward direction. From the steep slopes of Himalayas, the river flows through gentle slopes on reaching the plains of Assam. So from the slope, when it enters into the plain of Assam, the speed of water generally decreases. The average slope of the rivers is 13 to 14 centimeter per kilometers from Sadia to Dhubri. That means from Sadia to Dhubri, when the river moves from Sadia to Dhubri sides, it has a slope of how much? Slope of 13 to 14 centimeter in every 1 kilometer. Since the river flows through gentle slopes in Assam, the speed of river is comparatively slow. So in Assam, as it has a gentle slope, it doesn't have high slopes. So when it enters into the plain area of Assam, the speed of river water decreases. Therefore, in this course, the sediment carrying capacity of the river is less. Hope you know the meaning of sediments are those small particles which are generally carried by river water from one place to another. And this sediment carrying capacity of river is generally high in the hilly regions, as the speed of water remains high in hilly regions. So in hilly regions, sediments are carried in high amount. But when the same rivers enters into the plain area, as the speed of water decreases in the plain area, all the sediments which were carried by the rivers from hilly regions are deposited on the river bed, in the plain area. So as a result, the sediments carried by the river from the Himalayan region is deposited in the plains. So as we come across that in Himalayan regions or any in hilly regions especially the speed of water remains high because it comes down from hilly area. So it carries more amount of sediments. Sediments means small particles like sand, stones, pebbles, okay. But these sediments are especially deposited in the plain area of Assam or any other plain area because in plains area the speed of river water decreases, so it cannot carry the sediments to further distance. So all the sediments which were carried from the Himalayan regions are generally deposited in the plain regions. The erosional power of the river bed decreases. Therefore, the erosional power in the river bed of Brahmaputra in Assam is less as the river flows through gentle slopes. So, as you know that river Brahmaputra flows in a plain area, especially in Assam, and it has a very gentle slope. So, here the speed of water is generally less or low. As a result, it has very less power to erode the bottom of the river Brahmaputra. On the other hand, the erosion on the banks, that is lateral erosion, is high in the course with Assam. But if we talk about the lateral erosion just you can see here in this figure. Okay, whatever erosion takes place in the two sides of this river, we call it what? Lateral erosion. So here in Assam, lateral erosion is generally high. The structure of soil on its bank is soft and so rate of erosion is high here. And the type of soil that present on the two sides of river Brahmaputra is very soft, so here erosion is high. While there is lateral erosion in one side of the river, deposition of sediment takes place on the other side. If in one side lateral erosion takes place because of river Brahmaputra, then on the other side there generally take place the deposition of sediment. Because of this erosion and deposition, the course the Brahmaputra is zigzag or meandering. So what we come to know that if there is erosion in one side, there will be deposition on the opposite side. As a result, what happens? The river course means the river channel is not a straight like a ruler, is not it? So you can see here its shapes is not straight, it looks like a snake, is not it? So this kind of shape we call it what? Zigzag or meandering course. Okay, hope you have understood. If the course is not straight, if the course of a river is in this shape, then we call it either zigzag or meandering course. So in Assam we can say that the course of river Brahmaputra is in zigzag or meandering shape. During rainy season, the flood plains of rivers are flooded with water and at places the river becomes wide. On the other hand, during winter, when the water level of river comes down, the deposition appears in places. So during summer season, the water of river Brahmaputra increases and different kinds of sediment deposition take place in different places. Okay, especially on the river channel. But during winter season, the water level decreases and the different deposition took place during summer season can be clearly visible. Okay, so now you see this line. The course of a river is obstructed, but the course of a river, suppose here some sediment deposition took place. When next year the water will flows from this side, it cannot go ahead smoothly because these highlands will or this deposition will obstruct the flows of water. So as a result, what happens next year when the water flows from this side, the water cannot maintain its normal flow because it will get obstructed by these highlands. So the water will get obstructed with these highlands and it starts moving in this direction and even in this direction also. Okay, so this kind of pattern where the water cannot maintain its normal flow and it divided into different streams is called what? Is called braided pattern. Because of depositional and erosional activities, the branches of the river changes their course continuously. So because of this kind of depositional features and erosional activities, the branch of the river, okay, so the branch of the river, the tributaries of the river get changes. That means it's change its direction. The backwater of these streams form wetlands. So when the water comes out from this side, and if it cannot maintain its normal flow, the water comes out. As a result, some areas are formed which remains wet throughout the year, which we call what? Wetlands. There are a number of such wetlands on both the banks of river Brahmaputra. So there are many wetlands on the both side of river Brahmaputra. Some of the highlands formed on Brahmaputra floodplains are permanent and some are temporary. Simply, highlands are those areas which are a little bit raised up because of sediment deposition. So these highlands may be of temporary and even sometimes of permanent. Kandulimari, Sialmari, Bhanganmari are some permanent highlands. So some of the examples of permanent highlands are Kandulimari, Sialmari, Bhanganmari. Alupatti is an important permanent highlands of Brahmaputra, and Alupatti is an example of what? Permanent highlands of Brahmaputra. Majuli, situated in between Kherketia Suti and main stream of Brahmaputra on the south, is the largest river island. So Majuli is the largest river island. Hope you have got in your earlier classes also. The total land area of Majuli is 5,400 square kilometers. So the area of Majuli Island is how much? 514 square kilometer. Some marshy lands of the flood plain turn into swamps with wild plants. So some area which remains wet throughout the year, it also has different kinds of wild plants. On the other hand, the permanent highlands turn into grassland. And on the other hand, these permanent highlands, whatever were formed, sometimes it turned into grasslands. Till some decades, 1 decade is equal to 10 years. So till some decades, the floodplains of river Brahmaputra were covered with grasses and in some places even tall trees. So up to some decades, okay, these floodplains of river Brahmaputra were even covered with grasses and in some places with some tall trees. The wetlands were also full of aquatic plants, and the wetlands which covered with water were also full of different kind of aquatic plants. Aquatic plants generally means those plants which grows on waters. Such a natural environment of the floodplains was the habitation of a large number of land and water animal. And so these floodplains were the habitation means homes of different types of plants and different types of animals. In course of time, human habitations and agricultural activity on the river banks have destroyed the natural environment. But gradually with the rapid growth of population, this beautiful environment, which was the habitat of different kinds of plants and animals, have been lost. Dibru Saikhwa, Kaziranga, Laukhwa are example of such habitations on the banks of Brahmaputra. So some of the important habitation on the bank of river Brahmaputra are Dibru Saikhwa, Kaziranga, Laukhwa, etc. So now let's go to the next page, that is page number 57. The north bank tributaries of Brahmaputra flow southwards from Bhutan and of Arunachal Pradesh. Now north bank means any river tributaries which come and join river Brahmaputra from north direction of river Brahmaputra. Okay, we come to know that especially the north bank tributaries of Brahmaputra comes from Bhutan and of Arunachal Pradesh mountain. The south bank tributaries of Brahmaputra comes out from a regions of comparatively hard rocks, but the south bank tributaries of river Brahmaputra, it comes down from such places which are composed of different kind of hard rocks. So these rivers carry less amount of sediments. The river Brahmaputra crosses Dhubri and enters Bangladesh. Okay, so after Dhubri, river Brahmaputra enters into Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, it joins Ganga. So in Bangladesh, river Brahmaputra joins with Ganga and flows for some distance, and after mixing with Ganga, it covers some distance. The river is called Padma here, and this river is known as what? Padma there. Okay. The river Barak flows from east and joins the river Meghna in Bangladesh, and there in Bangladesh, river Barak also joins with Meghna in Bangladesh and falls into Bay of Bengal. So both rivers, whether it is Barak or Brahmaputra, all this falls into Bay of Bengal. In Bangladesh, the length of Brahmaputra is 450 kilometers. So in Bangladesh, The length of river Brahmaputra is 450 kilometers. In this stage, the speed of river is gentle and therefore deposition is more. So there also river Brahmaputra's speed is gentle. As a result, high deposition can be seen in Bangladesh. As a result, a number of highlands, that is char, can be seen in its course. So there also a large number of highlands can be seen. The sediments carried by the river is deposited in the mouth, forming a triangle shaped delta. So the sediments which have been carried by river Brahmaputra from its source, so in the mouth means the place from where river Brahmaputra get mixed into Bay of Bengal. So in that place different kind of shaped are formed, especially triangle shaped highlands are formed, which are known as deltas. Sometimes we can also see the shape in capital D. In such deltaic regions, mangroves are found. So in such places where deltas have been formed, there we can see mangroves types of vegetation. Hope you have understood little bit about rivers of Assam. The remaining part of this lesson we will discuss in the next class. Thank you very much for watching the video.